Oh, hi. This week I had so many other projects in mind, and then like 5 minutes ago decided I'm going to do this, which is making a crop top with a dispensable, detachable separating zipper in the back so you can wear it as a single unit, because there's a sewing pattern that I really like and I want to make a bunch of dresses with it, but I don't have enough fabric for full ensemble and kind of just want a top. But obviously if there's not a zipper going all the way down the back of the dress and it stops, you need to be able to separate the back. And I've done it with snaps before. This project from last spring, I'm very proud of that whole concept and how it came together. It's one of my coolest projects, I think. And I don't dislike the snaps at the back. I wish I had reinforced it better back there, but I just want to try with a separating zipper. And I have these super short ones that I don't know what else I would use them for other than this, because it's almost the exact right height for how long I want the back of my corset. Not really, but crop top to be. I'm not really a crop top person, but I have enough high-waisted skirt things where honestly I just want to make a bunch of elastic waisted skirts for the summer because that sounds comfortable. Not that I dislike the woven gathered skirts, but it's just not as comfy. And if I've fluctuated in size at all, they don't sit exactly where I want them. Where the elastic, it's always going to go to the small of my waist, and that's where I want it to be. So I think that's probably on the books for the summertime. The main reason I want to do any of this is because I was gifted this fabric. I don't know about y'all, but with the florals and the pheasant feathers, it sure is giving off some depression robe vibes. I'm treating this project as the act of me jumping over the hurdle that has been the past little while, because I have had not my best times as far as my own business things. Mainly, I did a couple markets. They were outdoor events. It rained for both of them. Nobody can control the weather. It happens. In my opinion, I kind of got fucked over at this most recent one. It was the most I've ever spent on a booth. And what little foot traffic I did get, probably half of the people that walked by or came in just to say, who did you piss off to get this spot? It was a lot of that, which didn't make me feel great. And I barely made costs back. And I had, like I said, invested the most I've ever into an event. Definitely took me down a peg. I was pretty bummed. The worst of it all, the part that makes me feel the ickiest, is somebody took some of my keychain bags. When I looked through stuff yesterday, it seems like 4 were taken. And granted, of all things to take off my table, if you're gonna steal, I'd prefer it be those than anything else, because they are, I think, the least expensive thing that I have. Not that I want someone to take it, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, I think total it was $30 to $35 worth of inventory, which still sucks. More than the potential money lost on those, I just feel violated. Like when you find a tick on you and then you're like, I'm covered in bugs. And you just have that creepy crawly feeling. It's kind of like that about other humans. I did actually have some lovely interactions the day of that really shit market. So I don't want to be completely down on it. And my best friend came by and helped me out the whole day. And I cannot thank her enough for that. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do, a lot of things in my life without her, but particularly that day, I was not having a great time. And whether she knew it or not, she was keeping my head afloat. So I very much appreciate you. I feel appropriate to do depression robe, but this is gonna be really pretty, and I have every confidence that it's gonna work out. And honestly, if it doesn't, I'll learn what not to do next time. I think this will be kind of a therapeutic sew. And my first video project with my industrial machine, which I haven't shown y'all what this baby can do, where this isn't big long swaths of stitching lines to do, so it's probably not going to be as satisfying as it would be if I was quilting something together. But without further ado, here's what you need. Ooh, I kind of missed doing that. I forgot how it really feels like we're setting sail on the project when I do that. I have a nice outer fabric. This is just quilting weight cotton. I'm making sure when I cut the pieces out that the stretch is going across. And then I have some similar weight fat quarters, I'm gonna have to use 2 different swaths, and I know not everyone will be able to just use little bits of fabric like this, but however much yardage you need, it's all gonna be fine. Obviously it doesn't have to be pre-cut stuff like this. It's just what I have laying around. Same thing, make sure you're cutting across where there's a little bit of stretch versus this way. There's no give going that way. So I have 2 colors. It's gonna be a little mismatched. I'm not worried about it. It's going on the inside of the garment, but I think we're like in the same color family. And then because all the outline colors are like red, I think this will be the most appropriate zipper out of the options I have. I think this will go okay. Oh, I need strap material. I guess I can see if I have enough of this to make straps. I'd prefer that, but I might have some red ribbon I can use. So I can use this if I need to. Not that that's my favorite strap material, but like it's surprisingly strong. I have that otter dress that I made a couple summers ago now. This is the same pattern, and that pink ribbon is holding up way better than I expected. I thought I'd have to replace those straps at some point, but I wore that dress this past weekend and it's still doing the dang thing. And then matching thread, scissors, pin, sewing machine. Definitely an iron because the pattern I'm doing is Butterick B6453. Oh yeah, June 2021. Look at me writing notes. Ah, I have notes that say 1/2 inch seam allowance. Very cool. So this is just a 3-piece pattern for the bodice part. Obviously there's like skirt pieces that go along with it. And maybe I'll make a skirt to go with this. I just don't have any fabric in mind for that right now, so we'll see. Maybe I can quilt together a giant circle skirt panel that looks like the lighthouse painting. That would take 10 years, but would be pretty cool, I think. Should I just make like a little quilted something with that design? That's still one of my proudest drawing things I've done, because I mean, it's just a bunch of lines and I filled in with color, but it was really fun to do. And I have been in a bit of a detail mood as far as like adding extra flair to things. I am doing Star Wars trivia tomorrow, and I do want to make a R2-D2 outfit for that, and that's actually what started me on taking this pattern out. But then when I was looking for a good fabric to use, I rediscovered this that I had set out specifically to be like, hey, use me soon, because I'm trying not to be so precious with everything all the time, forever and always. I'm letting myself use the fun fabric within the same month of me acquiring it, and not 17 years later. What was I saying? Oh, princess seams. We're gonna need the iron, obviously, to press out any wrinkles and flatten everything out nicely, but because we have princess seams and you really need to like clip and press them open for it to look at all nice. Let's cut out a bunch of fabric and press it out and make it look real nice, and then we'll get into some assembly. And I think once we're in it, it's gonna go pretty quick. I've workshopped this pattern so much, and it's like I got bored with it once I did all the configuring that I haven't gone back to it, but I did all the work to make it easy to make this top going forward. So let's make the thing. Okay. See, this is one of those things where had I thought further ahead, I would have cut the linings out at the same time as cutting these out. But, you know, we forge ahead. Oh wait, just kidding. Maybe I was thinking ahead, because I do want these, the lining pieces, to be cut out ever so slightly smaller, like 1/8 of an inch smaller than the outer pieces, just because the seam allowance along the edge when I attach the lining to the outer is gonna go towards the lining. So there needs to be a little bit of shrinkage happening. Okay, so listen, I'm sure some of y'all probably noticed before I did, and I'm gonna blame sleep deprivation and just having a rough week on this, but that zipper I showed you at the beginning doesn't separate at the bottom. How can I do this exact mistake as many times as I have throughout the years? Like, how? I just assumed because it was the big teeth, it'd come apart at the bottom, but it ain't doing that. So I do have a longer, actually separating zipper. So I'm just gonna shorten it where the little tail would be to like fold stuff over. I'm gonna remove some teeth like above the end point with some pliers, I think. Why am I like this? Okay, crisis averted. Let's get back into this. Alright, so I do need a gap in the lining, so I'm going to unpick like from here to here, because that's where I'm going to pull everything back out. And then I think it's just sewing it all together and then top stitching. And that was my stomach, because I am deep in the rabbit hole with this and I don't even know how long I've been working on it. Oh, almost forgot the straps. So these are 13-inch long pieces because I want 12-inch straps with half-inch seam allowance either end. So I'm going to sew these into tubes and flip them out, and I'm going to hate it, but it needs to be done. And I should have waited to cut these in half and just done one big long tube, but here we are. So I'm gonna get that over with because nobody likes tube turning. It's gonna be fine. For once, that wasn't a nightmare. Thanks, little bodkin buddy. Okay. The moment of truth. Oh, I just got nervous. There's always that moment of panic, like, did I fuck it up? I don't think I did fuck it up. I think I did the opposite. How we looking? Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Also, yeah, this is one of the only like fitted skirts. I think really all I need to do is taper the waistband, like shape gathered skirt or any skirt waistband that's woven. Kind of taper in like this because I feel like I make them this way a lot and that doesn't quite work. But this is like, this is more comfortable than I was expecting, actually. Man, this came out really well. good. Also, any excuse to just channel more our flag means death stuff, you know? I like feel at home in this fabric. And I didn't interface it to make it super stiff or anything. Like, this is genuinely very comfortable to have on. So that is exciting. I like it. And you can't see the lining. That's good. Also, I just ate a bunch of dark chocolate hummus, so hopefully I don't have smears all over me or things in my teeth. But oh man, this is like very comfortable. I feel like I need to shorten the straps ever so slightly, but that's very easy. I just need to go back inside. I hand stitched the opening closed, and I probably should have tried it on before I did that. But in the grand scheme of like aftermath adjustments to make, this is fine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we did it. This feels really good. Genuinely. I was having, what is the term for it? Like task paralysis. I was so overwhelmed by so many things I have to do because, as I mentioned earlier, I had a really troublesome couple of markets, and especially this most recent one, and having stuff taken made me like being disappointed with how it went and not hitting anywhere near any of my goals for things. I didn't actively lose money on either, but that's about it. Like that's about it. I like barely made my costs back. Barely. It's frustrating when that happens, and I feel like I've been progressing. I mean, I took my time making this. I could have hammered this out faster, but I just wanted to like enjoy sewing a thing, and I just needed to make something. I had that very daunting, overwhelmed feeling before I started this, and I couldn't decide what other projects to do. The one I had intended, which was making an R2-D2 dress for the trivia I'm running tomorrow. By the way, I'm running my first trivia night tomorrow. I thought about how I was gonna make the R2-D2 dress, and I want to get more detail with it and like have a lot of little bits to it, and I wasn't going to be able to get it done in a couple hours today, so then I just couldn't compute. And then there's some bags I want to try making, and I'm workshopping one that like I need to make one more prototype before I share it. And not that I don't want to show that process, but I don't feel the pressure to like get it right the first time. Not that I mind ever showing y'all my mistakes, because it didn't even occur to me to take out the part about having the wrong kind of zipper for this project. That's definitely not the factors. Like, I'm not embarrassed that I didn't get it perfectly right the first time, but I just don't feel the pressure to like film shots well and like reframe the camera and make sure I get a multitude of angles and update and like write notes as I'm going, because that, as I expected, is very like thinky. I have to do a lot of brain work for that one, and it's a lot, and I think I would have gotten a lot more frustrated and not had the patience had I been filming along it. And it's definitely something I want to like share with everybody once I have it figured out, because I think it's a really cool project. So anyway, I just like couldn't figure out what to start on, so I wasn't starting on anything. So then thankfully I saw this fabric, and I was already thinking about making a crop top thing. I want to try doing one with like a lace overlay. That's what got me started down the road to even make a R2-D2 dress. So there's a lot of thoughts happening. I'm a little flustered if that isn't coming across. Thank you for coming along for the ride here. And I super appreciate everybody that has liked or shared any of my videos or project posts or any of my Etsy updates that I post on my Instagram. Or I feel like I've had a lot of people favoriting items and like the shop itself on Etsy, which I know not everybody can like financially support that. I'm so appreciative of everybody that has bought stuff from my shop, and y'all know this already, but would not be able to do this and like survive these markets that didn't go well without everybody over on Patreon having my back. So like, thank you all so much for being here and like letting me do the dang thing, because I genuinely would not be able to keep afloat without everybody over there. So like, thank you so much. Obviously, like buying stuff for me or contributing to my Patreon are like tangible ways to help, but just sharing a shop, sharing a post of earrings or something that you like, and also no pressure. If there's stuff that I'm posting for my shop that you don't like don't feel obligated to do it just because I'm here telling you to. I'm just feeling very thankful and trying to focus on how much good there is in my life and like my business life and everything, because it's not all bad. It just sucks when you get to take it on the chin so many times in a row. But I have my new industrial machine. It's working beautifully. I didn't lose money on these markets, so it's not like I'm further in debt than I was before. And I genuinely feel like this calmness having this top on, and I am really glad I took the time. This felt like a self-care project, even though it was for a video and sharing with y'all, but it wouldn't have happened without me wanting to make a video project this week. So it's because of y'all that this was able to happen. Anyways, just for being here, you're helping me. So I'm gonna leave it there before we take an absolute nosedive deep in the cheese. I will see you all back here next Friday with another video. Thank you so much for hanging out. Okay, so speaking of not having perfect things happen here, why didn't I clip the curve? Why didn't I clip the curves? Why didn't I clip the curves? Yeah, it's looking fine. Whoa.